Okay, joining us now, the newest member of the top 10 all-time NFL rushers in league history, fresh off of 166 yards from scrimmage on Sunday in his debut for Washington. He is the great Adrian Peterson. Adrian, how are you, buddy?
I'm great. How you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm doing great. Then again, I didn't carry the ball and touch it 28 times on Sunday. How you feeling 2 days removed from that performance?
I'm feeling pretty good, man. Monday I woke up and was a little stiff, which I expected that. A little sore, but I'm feeling pretty good today. Feeling really rejuvenated.
Are you at the point where you like that feeling on Monday because you missed that feeling?
Yeah. I was talking to my wife earlier, and I was like, man, I haven't felt like this in a long time. Yesterday when I was speaking to her, I was like, hey, I ain't felt like that in a long time, man. But it feels good, It kind of just, especially for the running back position, kind of beats your body up and give you that extra layer of protection that you need. Once your body goes through that trauma it goes through after playing a football game. Only thing it does is just get you, those layers just hardened and ready to take on the next game.
How much harder was it for you to get ready to do that, given that you arrived so late in the process to sign with Washington?
It took a little time because playing football is a totally different ball game, especially when you get out there and you're playing live action, football. There's nothing that you could do to mimic playing in the NFL. So having 3 weeks under my belt helped out a lot. I trained really hard to prepare to be ready to come in and make an impact as soon as possible. But after game one, I felt good. I know that I'll just become stronger as the weeks continue to roll around.
And Adrian, how long until you think you'll have full mastery of the Jay Gruden playbook?
I'm picking it up well. I'm picking it up well. I think here soon I'll pretty much have a good grip of everything they're asking us to do. Which right now, I'm right in the meat of it as well. So there's some things I need to fine tune and make become first nature, and I'll be right on track.
What's the hardest part of learning that? Is it terminology? Is it the play designs? Is it studying the film to see what you're supposed to do? What's the hardest aspect of getting yourself up to speed with that new offense?
I would say the terminology is always a big thing, and because it can be something as simple as a swing route. A swing route can be, you back there in the I formation or single back formation. You're swinging out to the right, or you're in a gun formation and you run like a wide route to the right. And then in another offense, that swing route can be an actual swing route where you're selling the flat and you're wrapping it up. So it's like small things like that with terminology with different teams that you go to that when you're familiar with, okay, a swing route just kind of being like a wide, then it's like first nature. When you hear it, you kind of lock into doing that. So it's like correcting those small things, and that's just like small things within the offense terminology that can kind of be a struggle. But so I would say that, and then also having the type of offensive line that I have, just being more of a patient runner. Because these guys they got a heck of an offensive line coach, and he does a great job with those guys and has for the past couple of years. But really having these guys up front that create holes, like these guys are big, athletic, they can run. So having that trust, being in sync with those guys and letting those plays develop more is something that I'm working on as well, because normally I'm just like, bam, 100 miles per hour, taking the last couple situations I've been in where the offensive line, I really couldn't count on them actually doing their job. With these guys, 9 times out of 10, they're going to get their job done. So being patient and trusting the scheme and where the ball is supposed to hit is something that I'm working on as well.
That has got to be so hard, though. You've been in the league since 2007. To change your instinct the moment you get the ball and force yourself to slow down and wait for the hole to develop. I mean, how do you adjust that process of thinking? Because I think when you get in those moments and you get the ball, you don't have time to consciously think. You just react.
Yeah, I'm kind of, based on this last game, I felt like I was kind of 50-50. So I was able to kind of balance it out with me being slow up top, like with my footwork, and consciously being slow, up top, and then letting things develop. And then there's certain plays where I have to be a little faster. But, I've been playing this game for a long time, so making that type of adjustment isn't really hard, Eric Bieniemy, it rings in my mind till this day. He always told me, slow to, fast through, And even though I haven't actually lived to do it that way for 12 years, I find myself kind of going back to that to help me slow down. So, just with more time and reps that we are able to accomplish in practice and stuff, things are just getting alignment even more.
Hey, Adrian, you've been hearing a lot of voices other than your own in your head recently, the critics out there, the naysayers, and, going into week one, it was Adrian Peterson can't do it anymore, and you prove that you can, and now the message is going to be he can't stay healthy, he can't keep doing it, he can't put these games together, he's eventually going to get injured. How do you react when you hear that kind of talk?
It is what it is. If it's not one thing, then, it's another. If it's not one thing, it's another. How many guys went down this week in week one? It's a lot of guys. This is football. This is a physical sport, a physical game. So there's certain things that you just can't control, So when I hear people say things like that, it's like, okay, well, now you can go on to the next thing, since obviously, the explosion, the vision, the speed, and the burst and everything else that you claim that wasn't there, it was put on display, and it's still there, clearly, without a doubt. And, if you compare to, other backs around the league that you watch week one, it just didn't look bad at all, So it wouldn't surprise me that people will go to the next thing, because that's what people normally do. Once they fail at one thing, they go on to the next and see what other way they can try to tear someone down, But me, I'm just going to focus on the things that I can control, keep getting better each week, and, keep winning ball games.
And, Adrian, the other thing they like to say is you're not a good receiver. I see 70 yards receiving, including a 52-yarder, the third longest of your career. How do you like getting a pass in your hands like that and being able to show people that, number one, you can catch it, number two, you can do something with it after you get it?
I love it. It gives me the opportunity to catch the ball and, receive the ball out in space. With the ability God has blessed me with, I'm able to make some things happen when the ball is in my hand out, in space, So, this whole notion that, hey, you can't catch the ball is crazy. I remember seeing, I was looking at one of my pictures, and it was like, oh, the Redskins have improved Adrian Peterson catching skills. It's like I've been catching the ball since I was 7 years old. I haven't been in a position to be out there and catch the ball. And this is a National Football League. You got players like Chris Thompson, he's a nightmare. He's a matchup nightmare for a linebacker. Smaller guy, quick, good receiver, guys like Alvin Kamara. This is a National Football League. You're getting the best talent in the world, So when you have a guy that can pound the ball, and you have a guy that can, catch it and run routes just a little better, or it might be leaps and bounds better, that doesn't mean that the guy, the second or the third guy, can't do the same thing, And I think that's where a lot of people kind of get lost, because When you're in that position, Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara, when you're in that position, you're gonna have Alvin out there more. Mark can do the same thing. He can run routes and not as crisp, but he can run routes and catch the ball as well. But guess what? He's not gonna do it as much because they got Alvin Kamara. So when you understand that, you just whatever, you let people say what they have to say, and it goes to show the knowledge of football that they really have.
You mentioned Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara, and I know it's 1 week at a time, and I know you're focused on the Colts, but I see Week 5, Monday Night Football. I see the Saints, a trip to New Orleans, and we all know what happened last year. It just didn't work out, and they moved you on to Arizona. But do you have a little extra in mind for when you get a chance to show the Saints what you could have done if they had kept you around?
It won't. I'm not going to be out of box or anything like that. I'm going to stay within our scheme, and I'm going to go out there and do what I do anytime I step on the field, and that's give 110%. So with that, I just let the chips fall where they may. And if anything, I guess they'll be able to look back and be like, hey, well, I guess we could have did this or could have worked that out or this, that, or another. But ultimately, they have. Two great backs down there that's getting the job done within their system. I'm just going to continue to do what I can do and, just show that I got it. It's not a surprise to me that I went out and had this type of game. Actually, I was a little disappointed in my ground attack, but, I'm just going to continue to do what I do. I've been blessed. So I'm going to go out there and continue to play and look to fall where they may. And that's going to end up being a big game against New Orleans Monday night, then so be it.
When you see that Joe Mixon from the Bengals had 95 yards on the ground against the Colts, how much does that excite you for an opportunity to go out and do the same or more this coming weekend against Indy? Got a lot of respect for Joe Mixon, too. He's a guy that I mentored, and, we keep in contact as well. But, teams, I'm sure they'll come in and have the same approach, stop the run. I'm sure that was their focus going into playing Cincinnati, and you got different matchups as well, so you got to play all that. You got to factor all that in as well. But, it's clear that the Washington Redskins, we're going to establish the run game. So it's not a secret that they're going to try to stop the run, especially based off what we did against Arizona. And so we just got to do our job. I'm excited to see what we're going to be able to do against a different opponent. You had that MVP season in 2012, and that was preceded by the knee injury on Christmas Eve 2011 at your new home stadium. How weird is it to have your home games played in that place where it had to be it was clearly the low point of your career at that point to have that knee injury followed by your best season ever? How strange is it to be playing your home games there?
I really don't trust it. I don't think about it as much, actually in that preseason game, it didn't even cross my mind, so, it happened. And it was actually a defining moment for me because it was in that visitors' locker room where, I sat there and I laid there and said to myself that, hey, I'm going to come back and I'm going to be better than I was before. That's when I had shifted my mind, accepted it for what it was. And, all my energy and my mindset at that moment was like, okay, it is what it is. When can I have my surgery? Moving forward, making plans, had already started making plans on coming back and being better than I was before. So it was actually a great moment for me and a moment that I always remember. So to be here and playing in the same stadium, it's crazy how things kind of come around full circle.
And you've still got that very positive outlook, that very strong sense of belief in yourself. Was there any point this year where you thought the call wasn't going to come, or did you know in your heart, you know what, somebody's going to get hurt at some point and they're going to give me a chance and I'm just going to make the most of it when I get it?
Yeah, early on, I, thought the call would come earlier, just kind of looking around and looking at some depth charts and stuff and seeing what was available, what guys had. But, as it kind of got later and training camp started, it was just like, wow, I guess it is going to be that situation, that, someone's going to get hurt and then they'll need to bring someone in, So it was unfortunate. And then, of course, it was a roller coaster, when you're talking about the emotions and stuff like that and going through it and different thoughts that cross your mind. And, for me to sit here and say that I thought, well, I guess I won't be playing, it might have crossed my mind, because I knew that I could control, an organization or, a GM or a head coach as far as, bringing me in. But, when that thought came, I immediately erased it. I canceled that thought as soon as possible and always kind of reverted back to, what, unfortunately, this is the game of football, injuries happen, things happen, something to come up, Or, that was the second scenario. The first scenario was, the season gets started here in the preseason and, teams won't be as satisfied with their run game, and then they'll go out and try to bring someone in, and then I'll get the call, So, unfortunately, it was B. Someone went down with an injury, and the opportunity presented itself.
You passed a couple of all-time greats this weekend, Marshall Faulk and Jim Brown. Have you heard from either of them?
No, I haven't. I haven't heard from them, but I already know it's all love. Jim Brown's a guy that, I've talked to in the past several times, and every time I see him and his wife, they're always, showering me with love and giving me support and stuff like that. And then, Marshall Faulk, too, he's a good guy that I've always had love for and shows me a lot of respect. So, I'm sure it'll come eventually, but there's no pressure.
Another Hall of Famer had something to say before the season started. His name's Chris Carter. He said, Adrian had better get over himself. We were all great, but at the end, we all smelled like a baby's diaper. Have you reached out to him to say, have you ever smelled a baby's diaper that smells so sweet?
No, I haven't. I haven't. I don't know what it is with him, but,
What do you think it is?
Let it go. I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know. I have no clue. Like, I can't pinpoint and put my hand on one thing, like we play different positions. I don't know, maybe because I got more career, yards than him from Minnesota. I don't know what it is. I haven't wrapped my mind around it, but at the end of the day, he's one person, and I just try to block him out and just, whatever. It is what it is. It was just more personal because he actually played for the Vikings for a long time, and through a lot of the situations I've been through that he commented on, he could have reached out and got some intel, that's not known to public to base his opinion on and not just go off of the face value of things that he was hearing and seeing. So it was just that. It was more so out of respect, like, hey, like, for instance, Darryl Green called me last Sunday. I had his number, and I was going to call him to talk to him about the number, but guess what? I haven't been here 3 weeks, and he got my number and called me on Sunday. So it's like, if you wanted to reach me for anything, you can do that, but you decide just to go on your own merit and, come up with your own conclusions to different things and make all these foul comments about me, and, I don't know. I'm not really into breaking and trying to break people down and beat people down, with negative talk, but you have some people that are like that, and you just got to continue to press forward no matter what the naysayers have to say about you.
I saw he did a game for Fox last weekend. If he ends up doing one of your games, are you going to give him a little tighter handshake squeeze than you normally do?
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely going to try to crush his hand.
I don't think you have to try. I've never shaken your hand, Adrian, but I don't think you have to try. I'm afraid of what you would do if you would actually try to crush someone's hand.
Well, I'm going to try this time. No.
All right. You and your wife, Ashley, have a foundation. You have an auction coming up. Tell us what we need to know about that.
Yes, the A&A Peterson Foundation, and me and my wife found this last year, and we're just giving back to our community, and giving these kids the opportunity to experience a lot of things that we weren't able to experience when we were younger. For instance, we had our kids this summer. They were able to participate in the robotics competition that took place at the Toyota Center down in Houston, and it was just a great opportunity for our kids to get in there and see how these kids are, just remarkable when it comes to the different ideals and building these robots, and not only just building the robots, but what they're capable of doing, lifting things, like really creating missions, so just these engineers, and giving back to the inner city as well. But on Friday, I am auctioning off, and the auction starts at 8. It's from 8 to 12, and I'm auctioning off my 100th shoe. I got some shoes made this weekend, just in anticipation of getting 100 yards, 100 touchdowns. And they painted them up. They're on my social media, on my Instagram. You can be able to check them out there. But yeah, we're going to auction them off, and all the funds go towards our foundation. So we're able to continue our mission, to improve equality through resources, economic development, and just transform our community, just to give that empowerment that our youth needs.
Yeah, and folks can check out the A.A. Peterson Family Foundation.org, and it's a great cause. And I also see you're already taking care of your offensive linemen. Most guys wait until the end of the season. You're going after 1 week. What do you have in line for the guys who are blocking for you?
Yeah, I'm going to get these guys some mattresses. So I want to make sure that they're sleeping in comfort, and, they're well rested, So I'm going to get those guys set up with a king-size mattress, and, just go from there.
Hey, Adrian, before I let you go, and I really appreciate you taking the time when you have a little time off. I know it's a busy season for you. You made a comment last week about still having a goal of catching Emmitt Smith. And there's a lot of yards still there. But I remember when I saw that, I thought, hey, I'm never betting against Adrian Peterson at anything. You put your mind to something, and you got a chance of doing it. I know you had a couple lost seasons there, but I know it's great to have goals. How realistic do you believe that goal is?
I feel like it's realistic, very realistic. Realistic. In the great words of Kevin Garnett, anything is possible, so that's how I view it. I'm just like, God's willing, I'm able to continue to, to have success and, stay injury free, and play, 3 to 4 more years. And I definitely see myself claiming that title, and in order to achieve something, you have to believe it, so, I'm a believer.
Well, hey, and I've always been a believer. I remember seeing a rookie in his first game take a swing past 60 yards against the Falcons, and I don't think they knew what the hell hit them that game, and you're still doing it all these years later. It's great to watch, Adrian. Congratulations on what you've accomplished, and we look forward to seeing how the rest of the story unfolds.
All right, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.